can you go to a #1 ranked arts and craft event, listen to world-class music, walk down a boardwalk full of landmarks, eat food from iconic places, and take a stroll along the beach?
Why, Ocean City, of course, and this is the weekend you want to be here as the 41st annual Sunfest celebration takes over the inlet.
This is George and Kit's first appearance at Sunfest, but they have been preparing all year long.
Wow, what a great duo. But really, that's what Sunfest is all about, bringing people together and celebrating family.
George Rainey and Kit Hansen are enjoying retirement. Both worked in corporate America. Both had their share of board meetings. They still meet every morning for a board meeting. They're just a little different these days.
We have our coffee out on our back porch by our pond, and we decide what kind of glass we're going to work with that day, what colors we're going to do, what we have in the what we're planning for the future, and what shows we have coming up, what kind of materials and products we need for those shows.
The products are these glass wind chimes.
What a great way to wake up the day and not knowing in the beginning what you want to do until we sit and talk about it. And then we have all this pretty glass. And it just makes you feel so good when you can see all this pretty glass and you're trying to figure out, should we make a bird or a dolphin or a hummingbird out of this? And it's like, oh.
Once those decisions are made, George and Kit get to work in their separate studios. George's studio is in the backyard, where he works on stained glass. It's something he picked up just a few years ago by watching a tutorial on YouTube.
Looked at all these people from all around the world that had their technique, and I just looked at the techniques that these people have used and fell in love with it.
Kit started making sun catchers with beads after inheriting some old costume jewelry that belonged to an aunt.
So when George started doing some of the stained glass, he started doing some small sun catchers, maybe about this big around. And most of the sun catchers that we see other people doing in shows are just hung from a single hanger at the top. So when George started bringing them out and showing them to me, he said, well, why don't you put some crystals on them like we have in our yard?
And that's how Sandyhook Art Glass Studio was born. But it didn't stop there. Kit and George then took up what's called fused glass.
I really wanted to do something for Ocean City shows. We do a lot of Ocean City shows, and we anticipated doing Sunfest. So we wanted to make sure that we had something that would give someone who maybe has a condo in Ocean City or someone who's coming to Ocean City for Sunfest, something that had Ocean City, or we say OC, on it to take with them.
That's how they came up with their signature OC wind chime.
So what we'll do now is you'll just take a little dab of glue.
Kit showed me how they make the fused glass wind chimes. She already cut out the pieces that make up the dolphin jumping through the OC. My job was to put them together and glue them to a clear piece of glass that Kit calls the wave.
Oh, it's just like a puzzle.
It's like a puzzle.
Once assembled, the pieces put in a kiln where everything fuses together. Unfortunately, working with George's stained glass didn't go as smoothly. He showed me how to cut the glass with an oil cutter. That seemed to go okay, but when it came time to separate the pieces...
Oh! I broke the wing.
That's when I left the stained glass to the professional. Once George cuts the glass, he grinds the edges, then starts a process called foiling.
And once you foil it, then you join the pieces together, and then you solder it together.
The pieces George and Kit create range from little sun catchers that you can hang in your car to large wind chimes that are up to 3.5 feet from top to bottom. And although keeping up with the demand is hard work, George and Kit say they can't imagine a better way to spend their retirement.
And I think one of the things we really enjoy about it most is not having to answer to anybody else. Always being able to make the decisions ourselves. Do it in the time in which we feel like it's the right time to do it. George likes to work late into the early morning hours. I like to work earlier sometimes. So it's like once we have our morning board meetings, he goes his way out into the studio. I go my way working in the office or out on the porch. And then we get back together again at dinner time.
At 6 o'clock. We get back together at 6 o'clock, and that's the way we do it.